What's up, everybody? This is lesson 1.2. We're going to talk about GCFs and LCMs. That stands for greatest common factor. Go ahead and write that here. And least common multiple. Go ahead and write that here. Now, again, just because you know what a word means in English doesn't necessarily mean you know what its specific definition is in math. So when we say least common multiple, we're not talking about some collectible that's not very common, like it's rare. We're talking about a smallest number that is common to two or more different numbers, right? So let's talk about the LCM. It's going to be the smallest positive number that is a multiple of two or more numbers. So what I would recommend you do is list out the multiples of each number and stop when you find one that is common to both. Let's do an example. This is going to be number 2 here. We'll do this together. If you need to pause the video to write anything down first, go ahead. I'll show you this hint after we do number 2. All right, so zooming in. If we want to find the least common multiple of 6 and 15, let's list out the multiples of 6. That's counting by sixes. If you can do that in your head, great. If you want to look at a multiplication table or check your work on a calculator, I do not mind. Go ahead and do that. But 6 times 1 is 6. That's our first multiple of 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 5 is 30. And we can go on and on and on as far as we need to, but I'm going to stop for now. Let's try the bigger number. We already have 6, but we also need 15. So multiples of 15. You may or may not know your multiples of 15, and that's okay. Again, you can use a table, you can use your calculator. Just make sure you don't skip any. So start with 15 times 1. That's 15. 15 times 2 is 30. And do you see a common multiple yet? Hopefully, you recognize that 30 is a multiple of 6, and 30 is also a multiple of 15. So if you can catch that, then you save yourself a lot more work. You don't have to keep listing out like 45 and 60 and 75 and so on, right? We found the smallest or the least, the smallest number that's in both of these lists. Smallest multiple of 6 and of 15. So we're done. The least common multiple of 6 and 15 is 30. Now, there was a hint here, and you can go ahead and fill that blank in now. I recommend you start with the largest number to make it even easier. If you had started with the multiples of 15 and you know your multiples of 6, you could write 15 and go, 15 is not a multiple of 6. 15 times 2 is 30, and then check. Is 30 a multiple of 6? Oh, it is. And then you're done. All right. Let's try the GCF now. GCF, or greatest common factor, is the largest. That's what greatest means. It's the largest or greatest number that divides exactly into two or more numbers. We talked about factors a lot in our last lesson. We did prime factorization. We listed out all the primes. That's what we're going to do here. So we're looking for the biggest number that goes into both, or it might be more than 2. But all the numbers you're given, we need to factor the biggest factor of all of them. So let's try that with this example, again without the hint, and then I'll show you the hint after to make it a little bit easier. All right, so we are looking for factors of 6 and factors of 15, not multiples. So remember, in our last lesson, if you want to list out all the factors of 6, just think of all the ways you could multiply two numbers to get 6. Always start with 1. 1 is a factor of every number. So 1 times 6 will get us 6. Then ask yourself, is 2 a factor? Does 2 go into 6? It does, because it's 2 times 3. The next number, you keep going just in increasing order. If we follow our procedure, we'd try 3, but wait a minute. 3's already here. So we're done. The factors of 6 are 1 from right here, 2, 3, and 6. There's 4 factors of 6. Let's do the same thing with 15. Again, 1 is always going to be a factor no matter what number you're working with. 1 times 15 will give us 15. Then check 2. Oh wait, 2 doesn't go into 15. 15's an odd number, so you can erase it or cross it out. I'm going to erase it this time. How about 3? 3 is a factor of 15. It's 3 times 5. How about 4? Oh, 4 doesn't go into 15, and 5 would put us with a number we've already listed, so I'm going to go ahead and erase these, and I know I'm done. I've listed all the factors of 15. It's 1, 3, 5, and 15. Now, we have our 2 lists, so in this list of numbers and this list of numbers, what's the greatest number that's common to both lists? Even though 1 is in both of the lists, that's not the biggest number that's in both lists. The biggest number is 3. So I like to circle it, and I'll say the greatest common factor of 6 and 15 is 3. All right, and that's really all there is to it. I'd like you to try these 2 practice problems on your own, and then come back and check your work. Let's start with number 3 here. I'd like you to find the greatest common factor of 7 and 16. Remember, we're looking at factors, not multiples. All right, so the factors of 7, those are nice because 7 is prime. There are exactly 2 factors of 7, 1 and 7. Oops. 16, you can list them out. There's 6 factors of 16, 1, 2, 4. Actually, I guess there's 5 because 4 shows up twice, right? 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. Now, in these 2 lists of factors, the greatest number that's common to both lists is actually 1. So 7 and 16, the greatest common factor is 1. Now, your least common multiple problem here, we're talking about multiples, not factors, so we'll count by 7s and we'll count by 4s and see what's the smallest number in both lists. That happens to be 28. All right. That is all there is to it for this lesson. As always, ask a question if something didn't make sense, or make up a problem like the one you saw in the video, and I will see you all in class.